Welcome, everybody. I'm pretty excited you're all here for Rebecca. Those of you who don't know Rebecca, she is the Go High Level agency manager for everything I do, and she's fantastic. And she's going to train us today on CRMs, right? Okay,
Thanks.
take it away. Take it away, girl. I'll just, some other people are coming in, so I'll take care of that.
Excellent. So CRMs, what does that even mean, right? So it's a customer relationship manager. And that's a very simplified way to say, like, this is going to have everything about your customers that you're ever going to need to know to help them advance through your programs and to help you to better serve them. And it's a lot of if you've ever been that person that writes down all these little notes about people on sticky notes, the CRM is going to be your new best friend. It's going to be all in one place. And it's going to allow you to, well, at least in the high level CRM, it's going to allow you to see how people are moving through your website and through your funnels and stuff like that. So I'm going to dive in and just kind of give you an idea of all the things that are possible within your CRM. And then we can have any questions after that. Okay. So I'm in my demo account, so there's not a whole lot of people in here, but me. And so right now I'm looking at the contacts over here and pop my menu out. So here I'm in the contacts area. And when you start building your list, you're going to see everybody in here. You can search for people. This is where you can even go in and add different tags to them. So we always want to make sure that we're segmenting whenever we can. We talked a little bit about this with our email marketing training. Segmenting is a wonderful thing because you can segment based on, maybe things that they sign up for, but also actions that they take. So if you have, for example, somebody that went through, and let's say you have a course and you wanted to see that if they had finished a specific lesson, you want to then contact them. Having those tags and those kinds of things can really make a big difference. So once we are inside of somebody's profile, we have access to so much information. I know mine looks a little bit bare here, but there's really so much you can see. And we'll start with on the right-hand side here. So all of the activity that they have, and it could be like they went, we'll use Juliet as an example. So say somebody went to the Breakthrough Author Magazine sign-up page, and then we see that they submitted a form. Like you would be able to see step by step, every step they've taken. And this is helpful to see, like if they, so let's say you're going to get on a call with this person, you can say, oh, I saw that you were checking out XYZ program. Were you interested in learning more about that? You can see those kinds of things. Or let's say you get notified if they fill out a form for something. It's a great way to pop in here and see what they put into that form. So sometimes the forms aren't just like, your name and email address to opt in, but sometimes we're doing a survey or we're asking them different kinds of questions. All of those will show up here in their profile. So we're going to go through each of those things in a moment. So over here, you would see all that activity. This is where you can add tasks. Now, I will say I have not found it great to use their tasks just yet because I have a hard time finding them after I make them, other than coming into their profile, but they are working to make that better. You can add notes in here, and these can be notes that are more so, behind the scenes notes, not necessarily notes that your clients are going to see. It can be something where maybe the client had called in and they had talked to somebody. They can add a little note in there. The CRM is going to allow you to just catch yourself right up on exactly where that customer or client is in their journey so that when you do talk to them, you can be, they're going to know that you're aware of where they are. They're going to feel seen, and you'll be able to work with them a little easier. You can also see their appointments if they have any appointments set, or you can add one for them. So it can be where you have your booking calendar, If it's something like, you're going to do something after hours for them, you can set a custom time. Otherwise, it'll stay within what your normal calendar times are set. But that can all be done right here inside of their profile. And one of the things I have to say, so for me, I use Gmail powered emails. And a lot of times when I'm booking with somebody, if I don't send them my calendar link, I'll just book them right on my computer, like right inside of Gmail. But what I also have realized more recently is I have the automation set up in high level to remind them. I don't have any reminders in my Gmail. So if I book it through here, they're actually going to show up and remember to do it. And you can see my calendar because they're synced, but doing it through here will help the system know exactly what's going on with all of your clients. So in here, you can add some documents that they have, like if it was something like an invoice would show up here, contracts would show up here, those kinds of documents. But then you can also upload files to stay with them. And they're usually more like PDFs and things like that. Over here, you'll be able to see every dollar that was spent. You can see a list of the invoices. You can see if they had any subscriptions with you, anything that they have done. This is a little bit more on the back end of like how we would structure information. So let's look over here on the left-hand side. First off, does anyone have any questions about all of these things that you can do? Yes, Christy.
Yes, I have a question. So I need to have an enrollment form that they fill out and then they enroll and pay. Would the form then automatically populate in that part right there?
So it won't be in that part, but it will be down here. Like you are able to have like trying to think of ones that I have forms in so you can see, but sometimes we can decide where that information shows up. Like when you're building out, let me just open up a form real quick. When you're building out a form and you're making, let's say you have the special fields, then you can decide where it's going to show up based on those fields. So let me show you. I've loaded in some standard things just so we can all have something to look at in here. Okay, so let's say this was your ugly form. And then when you're adding any custom fields, you can see like if you want it to be under the contact section, you would add those fields under contact so that they would show up here under contact. Same with additional info. That would be under here. I don't know what this is a ChatGPT history account. Okay. So we can see what that is. When I load fake data in, sometimes it gives me other fake things. So yeah. So that would show up in one of those sections based on where you actually created those custom fields. And then you would see their answers to them in there.
I use the forms and they come in, and it is so awesome to have them synced with the contact. There's no more digging for paper notes. There's no more searching for files. Where did I file it? It does keep it all right there, and you can look at it. You can look at it during your call. You can look at it before. Yeah, it's really awesome to have that intake information right there.
Yeah. And one of the cool things is when you do have like a form, for example, I have a set of husband and wife team as a client. They are about to publish this very big workbook. They chose someone before I was able to tell them about you, Juliet. But they're doing this it's a mind-body connection book, and they bring them through a lot of processes in the book. And one of the things that they are adding to the experience is they are having what they call companion pages, which are located inside of their portal. And if you're going through the book and let's say, for example, they're talking to you about how to do tapping at home, you can scan a QR code and go see a video that shows you how to do it. So they're making it interactive to be with the book. And at the beginning of that, they do an assessment. And then at the end of the book, they do another assessment. So one of the things that we're able to do, because we have those custom fields, is we are able to show people the difference between, like what they would have had, like what their first assessment was versus their second assessment, and see the difference. And we can show them how much they've changed in that short period of time. So having, those custom forms and doing all that and keeping them in here, it goes a very long way beyond just what you can see inside the CRM. I think because a lot of us are doing service-based businesses, and if we can't show people the results, because it's not always easy to show results in, especially in like mind body work, other than how they feel. But people don't always associate how they feel with what you're doing. So this is an opportunity to let them know that you're responsible for their good feelings or for their wins and transformations. So inside of here, we can, of course, see all your basic contact information. The contact source, if somebody had filled that, like if you have that as a question, it'll fill in there, but the system will also see where they're coming in from. So you may see somebody in there and it'll say what their original source was, or maybe what their last source was. And there's a bit of a difference there. The original source, let's say they saw an ad on Facebook, but the last time they came in and signed up for something, it was because of your email list. So it's good to know, where they initially came into your system, and then where they may have opted in again, so that you know that you're continuing to engage them. And so, like under your general info, this can be more about the business stuff. Additional info, these are questions that align with a form that's already in the system here. So it can be what kind of services you want to get, and you would see what their answers are in there. Now we get to where you can have some actions with your contacts. So tags, you can use tags to organize people, to create segments of lists and things like that. You can have as many tags as your little heart desires. You probably don't want to overwhelm yourself with them, but we do want to really segment. And as your list gets bigger and bigger, you may notice that some people are always there for the freebies, and you want the people that are really opting in and actually spend some money. So you can even say like, okay, I want to tag everybody that has spent at least $100 with me. So there's ways to do that. And then if you have someone that's already spent money with you and you are doing a direct campaign to them, that's so much more powerful than trying to get everybody in your list that may be just, which a bunch of them could be there for the free stuff. And that's okay if they're there for the free stuff, but we don't want to invest as much time in them if they're not going to become customers. And then automations. So you can add automations directly in here. Let's see if they have any. They do. Okay, so oh, I love birthday messages for high level. I have to get that set up. And it's funny because when you ask people for their birthday, they're like, why? Why do you as a marketer need my birthday? And it's just because I want to say happy birthday. I'm not being creepy. So we can have, let's say we do this confirmation. So if, let's say the person in here, like maybe they want to join our list, or maybe I put them on there manually, but they didn't get the onboarding. We can automatically give them the onboarding, or whatever workflow it is that you want them to enter in from. So you can add or remove automations from here. You can do that manually if they aren't specifically opting in. And then we can also look at opportunities. So this is something that kind of goes hand in hand with your CRM. If you're trying to track where people are, say in the sales journey or in their own, for my coaches, we sometimes use these to track people where they are in the programs. Like if they're on week 4 of Dream Builder program, we'd be able to quickly see that. So if you do see that they are in here, or if you want to add them to a pipeline, if they become a hot lead, you can do that. Now, this is a sample one. So if you have a new lead and then they respond and they book an appointment, you can either manually move them through here, or you can have automations that move them through here. But inside of your CRM, you can essentially put them wherever they need to be. So if I was to faces again, so I could come in here and say, okay, this is going to be an opportunity now. So status is open. If you have a value of that opportunity, great. So we're going to say, all right, we want them in the main pipeline. They are a new lead, and you can assign like people to use it, or whoever is going to own that. Like if you have different salespeople, you can assign that so that they're not double, trying to contact people multiple times with different people. And then you would create that. So if we create it, fresh. Okay. Refresh faster. Okay, so now you see me in here. Now I can move myself through whatever I need to do. All of these, by the way, these different steps in your pipeline can trigger automation. So let's say it's the appointment is booked, it's going to automatically send those reminders. Maybe it'll send, how to best prepare for your session, that kind of thing. Okay, so that is opportunities. There's ways to, the other good thing about these opportunities, if you noticed in here, we also have a pipeline for Google reviews. So this can also be used like, because you can connect your Google reviews to high level along with your Facebook reviews. And one of the things that I think a lot of us forget to do is ask for those reviews. And they're so important to our search engine optimization. It can really help us show up higher on search engines. So there is a pre-built campaign inside of high level, and it's called one of the recipes that will ask people for the Google review. So if all you had to do was add them to this pipeline or to an automation inside your CRM after you've done the work, it'll go to them either their email or email and text, depending on how you have it set up. And it'll make it super easy. They just click the button and then they can leave a review. So it's, and you can choose if you want it to be Facebook and Google or both. Google will get you more SEO, but people do look for people on Facebook. So I would say try to get a nice healthy balance. LinkedIn too, if you're on there more. But it's something that you can automatically request those reviews, and it has a widget that will show your most recent reviews on your site. So if you use that widget, you can also kind of say, I don't want to show any reviews under 4 stars on the website. Of course, they can go back to Google and see all of them, but you can, I saw one company only put up their 5 stars. I'm like, come on, that's not real. And it was a company that was, frustrating the hell out of people. So I was like, there's no way. So having that like a click away inside your CRM is gold, because this is the thing that we always forget to do is, like we finish a project, we feel good, we bill it out, we move on to the next thing. As entrepreneurs, like we're kind of trained to just keep going forward. But this is like one little step you can take to get more of those reviews. I'm going to check in with you guys. Do you have any questions again so far? Okay, excellent. If you do have questions along the way, just feel free to unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, so now we're going to get down to your portal offerings. Dorothy, I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going to finish this out. DND is do not disturb. I had a client once that was like, oh, I checked all the boxes that they wanted to receive all that. I said, well, you turned off all of their, all of those services. So if somebody unsubscribed, you'll see it in here. But if they are contacting you and they didn't want to go through like clicking the unsubscribe button, you can just come in here and click this and it would.
Rebecca, do you want to be sharing your screen?
Am I not?
Right. I don't think so.
I can see your screen. Can
I
everybody
can
Yeah, I
see
didn't
it
stop
too.
sharing.
Okay, now I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in the wrong place on my phone. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Now I want you to see as I've been going through and I've been doing stuff in here with you guys today that it's showing up inside of our activity window. So it says, do not disturb enabled by user. In the high level system, just as a reminder, a user is always the person running it and a contact is always the customer. So this is saying that a user, me, enabled do not disturb and then disabled it because that's what I just did. We can see that my opportunity was updated. So a lot of different things, like anything that happens, any emails, any text messages, any WhatsApp messages, all of that will show up in this window. So one of the questions that we had while the recording was off for a second was, how do we utilize the communities a little bit? So I've pulled one up here that, oh, I didn't bring it over yet. That was created for an event. And you can make something where you have a membership and then people can come in here and chat with each other. I love the way she did this for an event as well. So this allows us to, so she had her main stage here, which is where everything defaulted from. And then she had more instructions here when the event was happening. She had a place where you could meet all of the speakers, where you can network with each other. I love the scavenger hunt. So she made this, she gamified this, and all of your communities are able to be gamified, where you can have a leaderboard and everything else. You can define what those prizes are that you're going to be giving away. So all of these are customizable. It's not like you're going in and saying, okay, do I need a scavenger hunt page? Like that's what she called it. You can call it whatever you would like. But I thought she did a really great job of utilizing this for an event and getting people excited about the event. And then one of her other big things for her event was that she wanted all of the tips that we gave. She asked all the presenters to give an implementation video that people could watch after. So it's one of the things that you can engage people before an event or before an activity, during and afterwards. Plus, if she adds her events in this calendar, it automatically goes onto all of our calendars, our individual calendars. And then people, I didn't do very well in the leaderboard, but this is like people were going for it. So they had different things they could do to earn more points. So Dorothy, does that answer your question about the communities? Good. Excellent. So this is a lot of how we can use our CRM. The other thing that we can do is create smart lists. And with me being the only contact in here, probably doesn't seem very smart, but it can be where to filter people first, you can come over here to the filters and you can go by tag, you can go by when they were created. Let's see, a lot of different things there. Oh, if they've, because you can manage messages that come in from Facebook and Instagram. So you can even make, okay, here are all my Instagram people. There's a lot of different ways that you can tag people and sort them. And then inside of your smart list, it can be based on their activity. So a smart list can be, like these are all the people that found me on social media, and you can have them all in one place. But then maybe it's based on their actions. So you can create a smart list of like the last activity. So let's say people that were highly engaged in the last 3 months, you want to send them something specific, you can absolutely make a smart list for that. So there's tons of ways to track, identify, and manage all of your clients and future clients. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that. They made a place for tasks to show up. So here's where you can, I told you they were building, they were working on it. I stopped using it just because of that. Yeah. So that's a lot of the basic, well, it's not basic, the CRM. That's a lot of their main functions there. And you can utilize parts of that CRM inside your emails and things like that. So let's say somebody, all right, the couple that I was telling you about that's going to launch their book next month, when somebody takes their initial assessment, it goes obviously into the system. When they take their second assessment, it's going to go out to them in an email and say, here are all your answers from day one, and here are all your answers from day two. So we can put all of that data into emails and send it back to them. It'll dynamically fill that in because it's inside your CRM already.
Rebecca,
So, yes.
can it work the other way as well? Like for me, it's going to be kids assessments, like for as they go through the program for education. So like the parents can see their progress from month to month.
Yeah.
So I can do that too, where this is how they did the baseline, and then 1 month, 2 months, you can do that.
And I have found, because I don't think you can do the same form. So let's say like when they're starting their program with you, they have an entry form, and then maybe it's like a 1 month, a 2 month, but then they could be able to see all those numbers next to each other. Yeah. Yeah. So any other questions here? I know I just gave you a lot of CRM info. And if anybody is already using a CRM and if you would want to share some of the cool things that you do with yours, I'd love to hear it.
I have a question. Did I hear you right? You said that the calendar, you can book someone's appointment while they're on the phone and it will convert it to their time zone now. Because I know when we set up that didn't work. And I do that a lot. I'll schedule my client's next appointment at the end of our current appointment. So it'll do that now where we can put it in and it'll just automatically go up to the time zone.
It's important that inside of your CRM, it's marked on what their time zone is.
Okay.
Because your CRM will be set up in your time zone, right? But then they may be in a different one. So there is a spot inside of here where you can say what their time zone is so that it would then convert to them.
Okay, so then we can use the calendar that way now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember we tried that and it didn't do it back then. That's cool.
Yeah. So as long as it's set in their thing, I mean, when you look at the dates in here, let's see, I don't have a calendar in there, but when you look at it, obviously you're looking at it through your own time zone.
Right.
But when they get their invitation, it would convert to theirs.
Oh, I love that because I'm paying probably $40 a month right now for Visita, and that was the only reason I stayed with them.
And that's really it. Like you can, so let's say I'm in New York and you're in Mountain. You can come and look at Mountain time and say, okay, let's see what's available on their time zone,
Okay.
Because sometimes, that math just gets in the way.
Yeah. Dorothy, did you have a question?
Yeah, well, I was just saying, I said that would be really handy for me because I'm in so many different time zones at any given time. And like I say, when the meeting is scheduled and it's scheduled in, like I say, if I'm in the system, in your system, say, and you send me an invitation, then it'll be in my time zone. I don't have to look at that a second time and say, oh, and notice that I missed it because it was Central Standard Time instead of Mountain Standard Time. So that is great.
Yeah, that is. Now, she quite frequently goes between ranches and both your ranches are on different time zones, right? One's in Mountain, one's in Central.
Right.
What zone are you in, Dorothy? I would be somewhere in between if that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, you guys? Okay. Well, if that's a no, Rebecca, thank you. This was wonderful. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to post it over on the Business Acceleration Network or use it as a podcast. So next month we'll do the podcast.
I think we could stitch them together because I stopped when the recording went off.
Did you? Okay, I might be able to do that then. I just don't know how to, well, I have editing programs. Maybe it's time I learned. Next month, you guys, on the 19th, and the page is up already if you want to go register, we're going to be doing Save Time and Build Relationships with Automation. You guys, the automation in this is killer. We just worked on some right before we got on here. I'm starting to get into triggers that text me when a book orders come in, email someone else when another kind of order comes in. It's really complicated, but my gosh, how much time it saves you. Because the book orders, now I'm not logging in all day looking to see if someone ordered books and just didn't tell me. So definitely show up next month, because that's where all the magic happens, I think, is in that automation. What do you think,
Automation
Rebecca?
can do so much because, I mean, first, like some of the basic automations you should have are your, like, when someone joins your email list, you want to be able to walk them through what it's like in your business, what you offer. I mean, how many times, for me at least, I know this is true. People come to me maybe for a website, and then down the line, they're like, "Do you know anyone for social media?" And I'm like, so they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize you did that." My family doesn't know what I do. So having that email automation that just goes out to everybody, and you don't have to bombard them with it. It could be like a few different pieces and be like, okay, and then when you're ready for your social media, here's how we can help you and all that kind of stuff. So there are some key automations that I recommend everybody have, which we'll talk about next time. And then you can get so granular with high levels because it's really based on actions. And the ones that we have access to are just the tip of the iceberg. There's actually a whole other set of automations that you can upgrade for, which I haven't had to use those yet. But they get really like, transactional. Like if you have an online store and somebody purchased, I don't know, a dog bed, you may want to then send them emails on dog bones, just as an example.
Mhm.
So you can get really granular with some of those things. So we'll take a look at that next month.
Can I ask a silly question on the upgrade, between the upgrade and the AI? Because I actually used the AI for the first time yesterday. I was trying to develop something. Um, Between those, will it go out and follow up with those things? Like I know you see the abandoned cart and things like that, but does it push stuff out with the AI or anything like that?
I mean, I think the AI will help you build those automations, but yes, you can do those. I don't know. I want to say you have to upgrade to the automation upgrade, like because there's certain triggers that we don't have access to in the level that we most of us are on.
Mhm.
But that's usually more for like the dev guys, like the development people that are just really really looking for those micro moments.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so they're worth it for them to definitely upgrade.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Anybody else have questions? Well, Rebecca, thank you. It's
You're very
great
welcome.
as usual, and thank you for your help beforehand. You guys, even I need help with this stuff because I messed something up big time.
I need help with it. Let me tell you, like I had a moment where I was talking to my tech team and I had a new course that I want to share with everybody that is on my high level. And I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do is there's like, 40 people in there and I'm going to just copy it to 40 people. And they're like, or we just put it in your menu. And I'm like, didn't know that was a thing. So there's stuff I don't even know, and there's ways to customize things. So yeah, it's a constant learning process. High level is constantly updating. So they're always like, I don't know if you guys noticed, you can now buy domain names through high level. So they're adding more things. It looks like based on some of their surveys that they've done, that they're even gonna add ways to print some stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, and here's something that Rebecca and I are working on. I actually the funnel that got me in trouble is one of these, and I've got to get it perfected. You can do snapshots in
Mm.
here as well. And I didn't know what a snapshot was, but we're going to be selling some snapshots. I just sold a bunch to a company that I was consulting with. But let's say for your client, they needed something like a funnel and you were directing it, you could actually copy and sell that funnel to them, which is what I'm doing with Gary's funnel. So you can create something that people can use. One of the things that Rebecca and I talked about was book templates. So a lot of you come to me and you pay me to put your book page up. What if you had your own Go High Level account and I just sold you a template and now you drop, drag, put in colors, put the information in and you're done. So I think that's a really cool part of this as well, is you can design things and sell them. if you had a need to. So,
Yeah.
like Chris could do, something with book development, like step by step.
And so as I mentioned, like I loaded some data in the demo account, and it was from a snapshot that I purchased. I purchased this whole vault of snapshots for different local industries because some of the local people are starting to come to me more. But like our local plumbers and stuff like that, it has a whole funnel, like a website built out. It has 2 funnels to get customers, 1 funnel to get reviews. It comes with a lead magnet. Like there's so many things you can get inside of snapshots.
Yeah.
One of the ones that we have used more recently is, well, first I made a snapshot of that course, which I was told I didn't have to do. And then the only thing I would caution you guys about with the snapshots is if you build it and you have your personal things attached to it. So let's say you built out the whole, let's say a funnel and automation, and then you have very, your personalized stuff in there where it's like they're connected to your account, your Facebook or something like that. Those snapshots can carry some of your data with it. So you want to make sure you don't populate your snapshot before you send it out. You just have the framework or whatever you're selling, but the framework. You want to make sure there's nothing personal in there of yours.
Yeah. So I
Hey,
guess in that
Rebecca,
sense, huh?
Rebecca and Juliet, is there any advantage to buying a domain through Go High Level versus anybody else like GoDaddy or whoever?
That it's right there and you don't have to connect it, but there's nothing special. I mean, there's nothing special about their domains that you can't get anywhere else.
And how's their pricing? Do you know?
Pretty standard with everyone else. I mean,
Okay,
they all charge about the same thing. It's usually just a matter of having it in the same place as everything. So if you don't have 1,000 domains like Juliet, that you could have them all on high level.
I see.
But
Thank you.
yeah.
By the way, I only have 79. GoDaddy called me last week to sell me some program where I didn't have to pay for all of them.
Well, hold on. You should go into that program. It's the domain club, and you will pay
Yeah,
half of your renewal
Yeah,
rate
I
on
will.
those.
I just haven't gotten around to it. And unfortunately, every time I call GoDaddy with a problem, I'm really getting anti-GoDaddy. They upgrade me into something else that costs, like my email got, it wasn't hacked, but I got like these 5,000 in Russian, like in 3 or 4 days. And so then I had to upgrade to something that's a couple hundred a year for advanced security. And I just get tired of the upsell all the time. I often wonder if they create problems to sell you. Well, kind of like our government. I'm going to create a problem and then I'm going to come in with a solution and you should
And Western
or our
be
medicine.
grateful.
pharmaceutical and food industries
And
creating
Western
problems.
medicine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So, all right, you guys, that's it. Then sign up for next month. And you guys know, everybody here knows where Rebecca is. If you need help, Amanda, your agency's through Rebecca, isn't it?
No.
Oh, well, silly me for saying that. I know Dorothy's is, and Chris's is, and mine is.
No, but
Amanda
Rebecca,
had it before she knew how wonderful I was.
Yes, yeah, there we go.
well, I've always known how wonderful Rebecca is. I did not know it was an option. And Rebecca has been gracious enough that when I had a question that my team couldn't answer, she fielded it. And actually, I have a guy writing a program that will allow for me to have membership credits for services to run my float software through there. So we have a workaround there. He's writing the code for it, and it's pretty amazing that will allow for gift certificates and things like that. He's just an
Yeah,
awesome
that's
guy.
cool. I will tell you,
He's
I
done with
found,
that. I could
What's
use the gift
that?
certificate. Once he's done with the gift certificate part, I'll buy it from him.
yeah, sell it
I'll
to
be
you.
happy to refer you to him because Ian is great. He's from the UK, but he is currently in Taiwan working at a cram school as an English teacher.
Isn't
Very
that
cool.
funny? My guy who I was going to say who writes code for me when I need code in there is UK too. He has a company in the UK, and he's on Fiverr too. You guys, he's really reasonable over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do a
The
really
tech
good job.
team that supports me, they used to work at high level on their dev team, so they know the program inside and out. So I usually can get some pretty quick answers from them.
That's cool.
My
That's
my
cool.
team leader was one of the trainers with BA.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so she's very aware of and they offer trainings 3 and 4 days a week.
Good.
So just
Good,
yeah,
good.
it's a great team.
Very good. All right, you guys, thank you, and we'll see you next month.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.